Good evening. So, last night I decided I wanted to push my boundaries a wee bit when it comes to the mushrooms. My goal is to take about 20 grams. I'm a psychonaut. I want to completely detach from my body. I want to feel what it's like to not have a body. So I'm building myself up more and more to do more and more shrooms. So last night I done 8.5 grams of Liberty Caps, and I'm still trying to integrate everything that happened last night. But on 8.5 grams, all I can say is I became God. I ceased to exist. Who I am today, the guy talking to you now, does not exist last night. I went to places that it was almost like past lives. It was the most insane experience. My body was like a vortex. I went into myself and came out of myself, and went into myself and came out of myself, and for about 6 hours, I had no idea that I existed. And where I was, I have no words for. I've done psychedelics for years. I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of experiences, them all. Ayahuasca, DMT, Bufo, fucking Jarama, Acacia, mushrooms, acid. I've done them all. I like to push the boundaries. I'm one of those guys. It's something that I want to do personally. I want to, because I know there's something so much more than where we are and what we believe we are. And it's sort of like, my goal is to discover what the self is, not the Paul Murray who's talking to you now, but the higher self. I want to reconnect. I want to connect with my higher self, and I want to connect with the me of different timelines, because there's thousands of us. And last night I came close. I genuinely cannot explain. There are no words to express what I seen, what I experienced, and what I was last night. Complete disassociation from self. The cosmos. I was just part of the infinite. I was in a vortex of just colour and frequency. I dissolved. I've got these glimpses of coming back to reality. And I was coming back to reality, and I realised I heard this humming sound. It's like the humming sound sort of brought me around, and I realised the humming sound was me. The physical me now, like if you had walked in and seen me, I was going, I'm making this fucking weird howling sound. But where I was, it was like this frequency, this vibration that was just, the sound was like a steering wheel, and the sounds, like whatever sound I made, it was almost like a road, and I was like traversing down this cosmic road of colour, and like around, like a vortex. Oh my God. I went through every emotion possible last night. Every emotion. Like, I was in a pretty bad way. Like, some things came up that really, really brought up like deeply, deeply repressed emotions that I didn't know existed. And I wasn't here. I came round at one point, and I was just bawling my eyes out. But I didn't know I was bawling my eyes out. Again, it was the sound. The sounds I was making in the physical body were impacting the journey I was on in the astral plane. And it was just bringing me along this fucking, I don't know. Holy shit, it was insane. Definitely the most, like, of all the ayahuasca, of all the Bufo, even Bufo, which is like, nothing is compared to this. And like 8.5 grams on your own, it's pushing the boundaries. But mind you, I was able to control myself and able to hold space for myself quite easily. I was pretty impressed with the fact I could hold it together, and I was able to fucking function and get myself normalised. But I think the next time I'm going to go for 12 next time. I'm slowly building myself in. What I want to do is I want to do 25 to 30 grams eventually, and just completely disappear. Like, I know some people are going, what, that's fucking, but it's just, listen, it's what I am. I like to push the boundaries of what's normal. I've always been that way. I'm very high tolerance in these things, and I've always had the ability to control these things and get myself. And for me, my mind is probably my strongest asset, but also my fucking worst enemy. I can't get out of my head a lot of times. A lot of times when people are on ayahuasca, for example, they're on 2 cups and I'm on 3, and nothing is affecting me because I've just got such a strong mind that I resist unconsciously. I resist a lot, and I can't seem to let that go. So I need high doses of medicines to bring myself out of place. And the more and more I do the higher doses, the more I start to connect. Like, what I learned last night is this reality means fuck all. I have lost so much fear. Do you know they say, like, psilocybin, it can rewire the brain? I've always heard this. You know, you've heard these things like 1 dose of psilocybin can completely rewire your brain and your synapses can be completely changed. I think I experienced that last night. I am seeing the world in a completely different way. Last night, it was liberating. It's been liberating. I feel so alive today. I just, like, this means nothing now. See this plane we're in? Like, the fear of death, gone. We do not die. Where I went to last night, I know we do not die. What I experienced, what I seen, there are no words. I actually don't know any words that I can use to explain where I went to last night. What I seen, what was, I don't know. It was profound. It's one of those things that, it was so deep. I wish I could have brought someone with me to see it, just so I could talk to someone and go, do you see that? Because I'd ask him, how the fuck do you explain that to someone? How do you explain what I seen, what I experienced, what I was? This guy talking to you is only one version of me. Last night I seen them all. Infinite numbers of me. And then not only infinite numbers of me, but infinite numbers of something else that I don't know how to articulate. I am blown away by the power of Liberty Camps. They're just, wow. They fundamentally change your life. They change I'm not the guy. I regularly say to people, not everyone should do psychedelics. And if you're going to start doing psychedelics, you should really, really consider, your mental health, your mental state, how you feel about yourself, but at least be honest with what can occur if you do it, because your reality is going to shift in a way that can never be changed again. And like I said, I'm well versed in psychedelics, thousands and thousands of experiences. Last night, I'm struggling to think how anything else how this can ever be topped. If this can be topped, Jesus, I don't know. I'm blown away by what I seen and what I was. I now know that I am not me. That's the only way I can say that. I took 8.5 grams of Liberty Caps, but I'm not me. I now know I'm not me anymore. It's like, this is an illusion. I absolutely know this is an illusion. This is just something that this, I don't know, brain or whatever the fuck, it creates an illusion of what we see. It's like, you know, the light spectrum we see, you know, birds can see different light spectrum. We can only see a very, 0.05% of the light spectrum. So that's our visible ability to see things. And, you know, what we can only, what was it Joe Rogan said? He goes like, imagine we had no noses. You wouldn't know smells. You wouldn't know, like, if someone could fart and you would never know that smell. So you would know, if you know nose, you would know concept, you understand what a smell is. Well, if we just live in this realm and we use these 5 senses, that's all we can integrate this experience by. But the shrooms last night, it was like they broadened the spectrum of everything, not just my sight, but my smell and my taste and my touch and the very proprioception. And the noises I was making in this physical realm was like the steering wheel that drove me through that realm, the real realm. And I'm making crazy noises here. Like I said, I came out of it many times and went straight back into it, but the noises I was making, I was just making these crazy noises. But when I was in the real experience, the real wherever we are, those noises weren't like that. Those noises were fucking beautiful. Do you believe to do it? What do you? I don't get you. Do you believe to do it? You have to have genuine intentions. I'm not too sure what you mean. Do you believe to do it? Yeah, the noises I was making, they were beautiful. Like, I sounded like a warthog being raped in real life. But there I was, I don't know what the fuck it was. It was just, fucking hell. I'm really, really struggling to try to put this all together. It's blowing me away. Blowing me, and like, I keep saying this, but you know, I've done so many psychedelics in my day, and I've been to those places before. So like, this shouldn't really be that much of a shock to me. Do you know, like, Bufo's taking me to places that, like, you just, and like the ayahuasca and the times it's taking me, it's taking me to places. But last night I was like, I don't know. I just know one thing. Do you know that saying, we've nothing to fear but fear itself? I get it. I get it. We do not die. I've always known that, you know, but last night I realised we do not die. And last night, like, I met what I can only describe as me. Infinite times. They tap into the old dreams. It's fuck. This is going to take me quite some time to process. It brought up, like, it was like this. Like, it brought up a lot of emotion, a lot of unhealed pain from experiences of this realm. That, like, I woke up and I came around and I was bawling my eyes out about the ex-marriage, and so, you know, the ex-wife and the breakup of the marriage, bawling my eyes out. And then I was bawling my eyes out about my kids, and fucking, then I became me as a child, and I was bawling my eyes out about the untapped potential as the child, and then and then I phoned my friend. I was in a bad way, right? There was a couple of times I was in a really bad way, like, And I phoned my mate, and my mate Carl, and I was on WhatsApp, and I said, Carl, and he answered the phone. I haven't seen him in 3 months, and he's put on a pound of weight. And his face took up the whole screen, and then I just buckled. And for an hour and a half, I could not stop laughing. Like every time I looked at him, I just collapsed, and it was like this most cathartic experience ever. So I went from this like deeply psychedelic journey to this deeply like releasing of emotion to this absolute fucking crescendo of laughter where I couldn't get a breath. Actually, at one point, I threw my phone away because like every time I looked at him, I couldn't handle it, so I didn't know what to do. So I just threw my phone away so I didn't have to look at him because I couldn't comprehend. And I was just like, I was literally being sick with laughter because I couldn't stop laughing at him. But all fear's gone. All fear of everything is gone. It's like, it doesn't matter what happens in this. This is just, it's like a blip in time. This is just like a blink. It's like I met myself infinite numbers of times last night. Me. Infinite numbers of me. I went into a vortex and it was like, do you know the Matrix where he opens his mouth and it goes down? It was like that, but I was turning inside out, then it was coming back around. And it was coming back to me, and just like this continuous cycle just happened, where I was like swallowing myself and then turning inside out, then coming back outside in. And it just kept going and going and going and going. It felt like an infinite loop. And it felt like it was just forever. It was fun. And then I started playing the bowls. Whoa, my God. See, when I started playing those bowls, the vibrations, the frequencies, and the gong, I could see the frequency. I was like hitting the bowls, going, and this fucking like, these cymatic patterns were coming up from the bowls, spiraling, just coming out. Do you know, like, remember when you were a kid? Well, I was a kid, you had these indoor fireworks and you light one and it would come out like a snake. It was like that coming out of the bowls. And the gongs would hit the gongs, like the frequency were coming towards me and like sort of going through me. Jesus, I'm telling you, that was insane. That was properly insane last night. The most amazing experience. Would I ever do ceremonies? Maybe one day, I don't know. Do you know what the thing about ceremonies is? Actually, I was talking about this with a friend. There's too many people now who are unhealed, trying to hold space for people that they're not ready to hold space themselves. And it's a really, really dangerous thing. You know, this year's been hard for me. Since I broke up, since Gail finished me and my marriage ended, I was forced into a dark, dark place. But in that darkness, I've discovered something about myself. It was phenomenal. It's been the best experience of my life. Though it's been the most painful experience, but it's been the most liberating as well. And it showed me just how much of a little boy I was in myself, and how much lies I was holding on to, you know, like, and it wasn't like I was purposely lying. It was just, that's what was happening. I was lying to myself. I was lying to, sorry, I'm painting, I'm doing my mum and dad's, I'm doing a painting for mum and dad for Christmas. I'm doing their portraits. So I'm trying to look at things at the same time. But yeah, I've learned that I was lying to myself, but unconsciously lying to myself. We all do this. Every single one of us do this. This is the beauty about the medicines. You know, it's like an accelerator to the truth. But sometimes acceleration isn't the best, because sometimes people implode because it's too much too soon. And what I've learned about myself is like, I was a liar. I was lying to myself. Therefore, I was lying to everyone else. I was lying about my relationship, my marriage. I was lying to my parents. I was lying to my kids. I was lying to me. I was presenting what the ego needed me to present. My ego has started to dissolve massively over this last year when, do you know, when like the when the illusion is destroyed, when the lie actually comes to the forefront and you realise that everything you've done in your life has been a lie, that's when the world implodes. This time last year I was a broken man. I don't know how I got through the last year, to be honest with you, like paranoia and, you know, the dissolving of the ego and the pain of that experience was so overwhelming. But I'm coming through it now. And in that coming through, so the men's retreat I go to, I would go to a men's retreat. There's a group of brothers we'll go to, and we really hold space for each other. And as the guy who leads it said, it's all about coming back to love. That's when the fundamental aspect of this is bringing yourself back to love. And I think a lot of people get embarrassed about that. No, I used to get embarrassed about saying that, you know, that's gay, that's shite, whatever. But the truth is, we are all nothing but children in adults' bodies. We are the repressed emotions of our experiences as we grew up in childhood. And as children, we need love. As children, that is the most fundamental thing of survival, love, that belonging, that safety. And it's bringing yourself back to that point. And that's the journey of this. This is what the medicine has taught me. It's finding the courage. For me, this is my personal journey. This might be, this is not for everyone. I'm saying everyone's got their own personal things. But for me, it was always like, I had to present this tough image of myself, you know, to be safe. And that meant love had to take a back seat. And it's like breaking that heart open again and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to express and to be seen for who you are and be judged as the real you. You know, that risk of other people looking at you and talking about you or whatever, that was a big fear for me. I didn't even realise it was a fear for me, you know, that's the whole thing. This was completely unconscious in my life. And it's only through the last year of really going deep and pushing that I discovered this. But the more I do it, the easier it is to let go. It's still fearful, but when you do let go, it's like this release. It's this unbelievable, just, the way I describe it is like, sorry, I'm gym. So imagine me giving someone 200 kilo deadlift and holding the bar, and they're saying this is getting heavy, and I say, let it down, let it go. You go, I can't let it go. And they're looking at me going, I can't let it go, but it's hurting me, it's killing me, it's hurting me. And I go, just let it go. And they go, I can't let go. That's the way it is, the metaphorical emotion. There's like these unconscious memories that are controlling everything you do, but they're weighing you down and they're causing you emotional pain, but we don't know how to let it go, even though it's hurting us. And all of a sudden you just let the mushrooms or the ayahuasca, whatever it is, just allows you to just release it. But it's painful to release. It's really, really, it's the most painful experience you're going to have, because to let go of it means to let go of everything you think you are, everything you believed you were. But in that, there's a liberation. There's a discovery of the true self. And I think people, this is the whole thing, this spiritual community, you know, they're talking about, you know, it's all about connecting with the real you and the higher self and all this stuff. What I've learned is it's not about that. We're seeking it the wrong way. Because you can seek the real you all you want, but until you let go of what isn't you, the real you is never going to be there. So it's not about actually seeking the real you. It's more about letting go of what isn't you, recognizing that the majority of your personality is programs you picked up from childhood, things you had to do to stay safe as you grew up, that have become part of your persona, that you've attached to, and you've become so used to them that you don't know who you are without them. But they're the things that actually hold you back. They're like the weights on your shoulders. And when you let go of it, you naturally step closer to the real aspect you are. Do you know, so like with the way I just like, this weight is lifted off your shoulders, you can breathe again, you're like, oh. And it's been so hard to let go of, but once you let go of it, it's like this release. And you realise it was never yours in the first place. You're holding something that was never yours in the first place. And then you can walk towards that by a byproduct of letting that go, you naturally step into a higher frequency, a vibration that brings you closer to you, and you become less worried about what you think other people think about you. Because ultimately, what other people think about you is none of your business. And what you think other people think about you is actually your own mind creating that story and projecting it towards others. So it's you who thinks like that about you. So when you think someone thinks you're a dick, it's actually you thinking you're a dick and you're projecting it onto them, if that makes sense. I know it sounds confusing. But that's what we do. We tend to think, oh, if they think they're fucking, they're going to laugh at me. It's you laughing, it's you fucking fearing that. Last night, I tell you what, more than half a kilo left me last night. I tell you what, I vomited and shot everything out of me. It was fucking purge central last night as well. And it was, whoa. It was deep. It was deep. I can understand why the powers that be don't want us doing this. The sovereignty. It's for this matrix to be, for them to dictate this matrix, they need us to live in fear. They need us to live in a story where everything is dangerous and, if we don't do this. And that's why the material realm is such an enslaved trap, because the money aspect, it becomes so much of who we are and what we are. But like, I was walking with my daughters today. So afterwards, I was like, I get my daughters every other weekend, but I missed them last night, and I realised, God, they mean just so much to me. So Evelyn was going dancing today, so I said, right, you just want to come up to me and we'll spend the day together. And we went for a dander with the dog around the lagoon, and we were talking about money, and Evelyn's only 8, she goes, Daddy, money really does grow on trees, because money's just paper, and paper's made out of trees. And I was like, you're right, sweetheart, and it's crazy. And I tried to like, think about how many people have died, how many families have been separated, how many people have been screwed over and left to fucking rot over a bit of paper that we put value towards. It has fuck all value except the value that we put upon it. So it's like, do you know when children play shop and they buy toy food with toy money? Adults are just doing the exact same thing. But we have, as a collective, we have just decided this is real. And therefore, because as a collective we decide it's real, it becomes reality. And then look at Ukraine, look at all these places, all these murders, Gaza and fucking Yemen and all these places we don't even know of. People are being massacred over this fiction. We turn our backs on people. We think, so many people think they're above everyone else and look down on other people, and we are so insecure about who we are that we need to project ourselves to be higher based off the size of our bank balance, not the size of our hearts. You walk it's Lisburn, I walk my dog in Lisburn. It's the Lisburn lagoon I walk in. But it just showed me, like, we've been so conditioned, we never think about these things. We're just stuck in the matrix of this life that we don't ever question. Do you know what? And we don't ever consider, is there a better way? Because let's be honest, for the majority, it's not working. It's not working. You wonder why there's so much depression. I'm very blessed in that, this push is hard. I'm very blessed in that I have created a life for me that, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I get up every day and I do what I meant. On this incarnation, this is what I meant to do. I meant to coach. I meant to create community. I am meant to bond with other people. I haven't worked in 18 years because every morning I get up and I bounce out of bed, can't wait to meet my friends and coach people and just interact with people. But so many people get up And the first thing they do is, they've been sucked, their soul has been sucked out of them, because we're not designed to sit behind a computer tapping screens making money for someone else. You know, I say to people, like, your wage is like an agreement between you and your employer to give up your dream to make them their money. You're being given a certain and agreed upon fee for an hourly rate, so that not to chase your dream, to help them build theirs. And we wonder why we're depressed, because you're not just working 9 to 5. You have to get up in the morning, and you have to get the kids ready, and there's stress there, and you have to sit in traffic for an hour unpaid, sit for traffic on the way home for another hour unpaid, pick the kids up, rush to there. By the time you get home, all you want to do is sit there and eat shitty foods and watch Netflix. It's not how we're fucking meant to live. We're meant to be sitting around fires, communicating with each other, helping each other, really showing each other that we're seen, heard and loved. But that's been completely eradicated out of society today. And we used to have a community. We used to have communities where we could all rely on each other, and we knew each other's names, and we knew we mattered. We could provide something. We had provided something purpose. Now what we provide our purpose is like how much money we've got. And all we do is work those hours to go away and take a photograph once a year, twice a year, on a beach or a fucking poolside, that everyone else does the same thing, just to let everyone know, look, I'm not working anymore. That is not how we're meant to be. It's just not, you know, like, and I don't want to go into the politics of things, but you know, when you've got governments who are funding like people from other countries who are clearly not fucking in need, to the tune of millions, billions, but yet the indigenous people who've paid taxes for all their life are struggling to make ends meet. There are people out there who are having to choose between feed their children or heat the homes. That is not, we've just accepted that as normal. That is not a normal way to live. That is not how we're designed to be. And because that fear, there's no support, we feel isolated and alone. And that is one thing I'll say about the medicines. It dissolves that fear. And you connect the people, you recognise you have a soul. And that soul will respond with another soul. Like, we're all God. Every single one of us is God. We're a fragment of God. We're all God having a unique experience. But the ego and the conditioning of the program has separated us from God. And I don't mean God like Jesus or the Abrahamic, I mean source. Like even the Abrahamic religions, I am sorry if you believe that. It's your choice to believe what you believe. I was raised Catholic, but I know that's not how it is. I've been to these places, I know what it is. We are all fragments of the same being, the same all. And the things we hate about each other are the things that are alive within ourselves. The more I do the work, the more I go into the shadow, the more I release, the less I compare to and judge other people. I realise how much of a comparison trap I fell into as a kid. You know, an adult, I was always comparing myself to other people because I didn't feel worthy. And the more I've done the medicines, the more I realise that I'm a beautiful soul just like everyone else. And I am like, the money is irrelevant. And you know how you know that? Because when we're all on our deathbeds, no one in the history of humanity, when they're taking their dying breaths, have went, oh, I'm so glad I'm a millionaire with no family around me. No, you're not. You're just not. You want to be loved. You want to be hugged. Soldiers don't cry on the battlefield, don't cry for their bank card. They cry for their mummy, they cry for their daddy, they cry for their kids, they cry for their wife. We cry for love. We're all children inside. And we all want to be held like a child. We all want to feel important. We all want to feel heard and seen and loved. But somewhere in the society, we've lost that connection. It's been completely eroded now. It's coming back in a great way. Do you know, like, we all hear, Christ consciousness and everything. Like, I get that now. I get it. It's like, it's an energy. And it's within each and every one of us. It's just that letting go of the fear of judgment of others. And that is such a liberating experience. See, when you can let go of the fear of other people judging you, because you've got an opinion that's different to theirs, it's liberating. This is what social media has done. I always say social media is a tool, but like the knife, it can be used to heal or harm. A surgeon can heal you, a mugger can kill you. And I think social media is like being used like a mugger. We're using the social media like a knife, like to rob people of their identities, to rob people of their true essence. Because we project the insecurities, the beliefs, the material world. We use it to show people how rich we are. Look at my life's amazing. Look at my perfect wife, look at my perfect husband, look at our perfect family, look at our beautiful house, look at my new car, look at my new home. All that's doing is making other people feel like shit. And those are material things. They're not infinite, they're finite. They can be taken away from you as quickly as you can get them. And if you put your value, your sense of being on your materialism, you're a shallow man or woman. And it shows you that there's something lacking within your heart. You're on the wrong path. Because that's not how we're meant to be. What's the point in having all this money if you're walking past people who are struggling, kids who are starving, people who can't eat their... Why do you need that money? Do you mean like my sound baths? I was told, why are you charging me £10 for that? I'm charging £10 for it because it makes it more affordable for everyone. And the more people I can help to breathe and meditate and experience that, the more I can help their frequency, their vibration, and allow them to just give them a few minutes. That's why I'm putting on free sound baths. And in December, I'm putting on free sound baths just to help people who can't afford it. Because we need to be able to help others. We need to look at each other and go, do you know what? There for the grace of God go I. And that's the truth. But so many of us, we've just become conditioned to be selfish and greedy and, want. Because there's a lack. When there's a lack in your heart, it's going to be expressed in your actions. But when your heart is filled with love, money means fuck all. I've spent 10 years building this place, put my heart and soul into it. I could lose it in a month, could lose it in 2 months, could lose it in a year. I could rebuild. I've done it before. I opened Friday Academy Ireland and walked away. Give it a name, fucking take it. Had to rebuild the whole thing again. I've given away so many things, it's just like it's like, I'm a real, I've got this sort of idea of do your best, but don't attach to the outcome. All you can do is your best. If you can look in the mirror, regardless of the outcome, you can look in the mirror and go, I did all I could there. Then that's all that matters. That's really all that matters. And if we all could attach to that, this world would be so much better. Imagine we could cheer strangers on for success rather than putting them down. Do you know, if we could all be happy for other people's successes. But you'll see in so many people's society, it's like it's a fake. It's like, oh, well done. Behind closed doors, you dick. It's a horrible energy to exist in. It's an energy I used to exist in. It's unconscious for most of us. Because it's fear-based. when you can use someone else's success as a way to inject yourself with higher energy, then you're in a better position to attract a more suitable energy that's going to get you to that place as well. If we can all help each other. Like, do you remember when you were a kid and you fell and cut your knee, all you wanted was your mummy to hug you? And even though the pain was there, you just felt, we're all like that still. And we're all going through that in society today. We're all just struggling on, pretending everything's okay, but we're just, deep down, we just want to hug and be told it's going to be okay. We're all kids, we want someone else to do it for us, you know. Sometimes that we help, that we boost is all you need. I just see it, I don't know, like, last night really, really opened my eyes. It's been a proper life-changing experience. And that's big for me to say, considering the amount of life-changing experiences I've had over the last load of years. But last night changed things completely. It exposed things for me. It made me see things for what they really are. You know, thing is, it's for everyone. This is available for everyone, whether you take medicine or not. Like breath work. Just breathing, just giving yourself time to connect with your breath. Putting your phone down and just interacting with the people you love. Looking someone directly in the eye and seeing them. And not wanting to interrupt. Do you know that we've all got, we all feel so unseen and unheard that when someone's talking to us, we're not really listening anymore. We're just, and we're ready to interject. And we want to say what we want to say because we want to be heard as well. And sometimes it's just better just to shut the fuck up and just listen. Just allow that person to feel that you've actually been heard and seen. It was a powerful experience I had, you know, in one of the men's retreats I went on. It was just like that. That was one of the big fundamental changes in my life when I realised that when I was expressing the pain I was in, and I looked and seen the guys just looking at me intensely. No one was interrupting, no one was wanting to say anything, and every one of them was listening to my every word, regardless of what waffle I was coming off with. It didn't matter because it wasn't about them. They were willingly giving their time up so that I could be heard and seen. It's such a profound experience, and it's something that every one of us can do. It's just a skill that you need to cultivate, because we've become so used to not feeling heard, not feeling seen, that we want to express how we feel. We're desperate, like children, wanting to talk, but sometimes just shutting the fuck up and just letting someone else speak and listening to what they say, putting your own stuff behind you and just parking it for a wee minute and just letting them be heard. It's connection. It stirs something in our souls that's long forgotten. Do you know what? It resides in every single one of us. Because ancestrally, that's what we all did. We all helped each other. We all allowed each other to be heard. We all supported each other. But social media and the pressures of society and this materialistic and capitalistic countries and this need for wealth and material goods has deadened that. It's that sort of energy being drowned in this fucking need to be seen for something we're not. Last night just opened me up to that. I just seen it. It was phenomenal. But it's available for us all. Each and every one of us. Each and every one of us can, if we want to, allow ourselves to just be there for someone else, hold space for other people. And I think as goes on, I think that's the danger in this. When someone said, would you hold ceremonies? the danger about holding ceremonies is you can only hold space as deeply as you've been able to go. So if you haven't healed yourself, and this is the danger with the medicines and the ceremonies that are popping up. There's one guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but I know him, but he's dangerous. He's dangerous. He's calling himself David, the Son of God, and he's fucking walking around. He's just not prepared. He's not capable of holding space, but he's holding ayahuasca retreats for 30 and 40 people, and he is just completely incapable of doing it properly. And he's causing more harm, and I'm seeing this more, and it's dangerous. And this is why I'd be very, very dubious about doing that, because I recognise in myself that I've got more stuff to shift. And the last thing I'd want is to hold a retreat and someone come into that retreat, which is going to happen because this is what happens energetically. We attract the people who are going to naturally trigger our unhealed stuff. So someone comes in, and my job is to hold space. My job is to hold the energy and to allow these people who are at the retreat to express what they need to express. And I can't allow myself to integrate it in myself to be taken personally. But a lot of people do these days. A lot of people who are holding space for doing the retreats and holding space, they're becoming triggered by someone else's process because they're internalizing it, because it's something unconscious in them that hasn't been healed. And it's a real skill, and it's a real strength to be able to hold that space for people and not become triggered. And it's really important that you recognise your own limitations. And that's why I wouldn't hold space yet for people, because I know that there are still things that trigger me very deeply in people. Now I'm at a point, I was at a shadow retreat, a men's shadow work retreat the other week, and there's a guy came and he triggered me instantly, but I instantly knew, oh fuck, this is something in me. So I knew not to project and to actually go inside and go, right, okay, what does this represent in me? Because that's the important thing, I think, one of the most important lessons I've learned. You can't be triggered by someone if it isn't already in you. If it's not alive in you, it can't be triggering you. You can just see them from love. But if there's something unhealed in you, and that guy or that girl is just being them, you can internalize that, and then you can project it. This is all unconscious. And then that causes conflict. And that's not the idea of it. Do you know, the idea is to be in a place of observation, not to fucking internalize it. What someone's doing is their journey. What they're experiencing is theirs. And you need to be in a position where you can see that and go, this has nothing to do with me. And you let it wash over you. Even if they're calling you names and everything, it's nothing to do with you. When someone's calling you names, someone's projecting, like, what the fuck are you telling? No, it's not about that. Let them. That's their whatever's in them's in them. And you need to be in a position when you're doing these retreats and you're holding this space to not allow their projections to bring you into the chaos. You know, when you talk about energies, now you hear a lot of divine masculine, divine feminine. The divine feminine energy is, the feminine energy is very chaotic. The masculine energy is very structured. And I tell this story a lot. In January when I went to the men's retreat, the guy holding the space, we were just finishing, the medicine had just started to wear off a bit. We were still heavily under the medicine. And he calls, brothers, I want to share. So you have this stick, and whenever you're holding that stick, you're allowed to speak, and no one interrupts, no one talks, everyone listens, and no matter what you say to whoever you say it to, it's irrelevant. You have to take it. So if I'm standing there and somebody goes like, Paul, you're a fucking dick, I hate you, I have to just take that. I can't answer back. I have to sit there because it's nothing to do with me, it's to do with him. If he's saying that, then there's something in him that he recognises that whatever he sees in me, it's within him, you know. So it's like, it's about teaching yourself not to be taken personal. So this guy was the guy who's owned the space. He was telling a very deep person. I don't share the stories of the retreat of the brothers. It's just not something you do. But it was very personal, very emotional. He was crying his eyes out. He was in bits. And then we moved around. Once he said thank you, brothers, and hands a stick, and he moved to the next guy. And then he shared. I was thinking I was the third or fourth guy, and I started sharing. And I just finished with Gail. Gail and I just finished a few months, so I was sharing about the pain I was in, and I was crying my eyes out, and I was properly bawling. And I looked up, and there was fella just looking at me. This guy had just been crying his eyes out 10 minutes beforehand. But now, he was completely in his masculine. So he was in his feminine energy of expressing and allowing himself to be vulnerable. But the minute he had expressed, he brought himself back around and bang, he was now present for everyone else. And it was a real whoa. It was something that just made me go, holy shit. He didn't wallow in the pain. He didn't allow himself to ruminate in what he was saying. He had allowed himself to express it, to release it. And now he was back in his masculine energy. And he was allowing us to go into our feminine. Because we're all masculine and feminine, this is the thing. A lot of people don't realise that, you know, we're all both masculine and feminine. We're from both. We've got mothers and fathers. It's not even sex. Energy is not sex. Energy is just, it's an archetype. It's an expression of the type of energy it is. And I think a lot of people, when they hear masculine and feminine, they automatically project it as, you know, male and female. But it's not about that. It's about the archetype of the energy, what it represents. The energy of the masculine is about structure, it's about control. It's about order. The structure of the order of the feminine energy is chaos, vulnerability, expression, and you need balance. You know, it's the pendulum effect. This is why so many of us are in a bad, never have luck or never feel we have luck, because the pendulum, when they let the pendulum go, it has to swing equally to the energy that is created. So if it's up this height, 3 o'clock. Over here, it's going to go to 9 o'clock here. And if it swings back to 4 o'clock, it's going to swing to 8 o'clock, and it's going to go like that continually until it comes to balance. And that's the idea, we're meant to be in balance. But our energetic output, so our triggers and what we feed it, creates more energy. So we're always wondering why life's going, oh, it's so good, oh, it's so bad, oh, it's so good, it's so bad. It's because we're internalising everything we experience, and we're putting the emotion into that, and then we're expressing that emotion rather than just seeing it for what it is, an experience. And when you see it as the experience, and you realise that you don't have to internalise it, it can be good, it can be bad, you mightn't want it, but you also have the choice not to, like, bring it into you. And there's, you know, like people, what about people dying? Your family members will die, yes. But grief is also, although it's painful, we don't want it, grief is one of the most beautiful things you can experience because it's you being completely authentically you. Do you know, if you lose someone you love, all of a sudden you don't care. I remember in Australia, when I was in 2004, I was in Australia and I lived with my grandparents for 10 years. And I remember when I was leaving for Australia, my mate Robbie, he picked me up and he was like, I gave my nanny a hug and I went, don't you damn me, wee woman. And she gave me a hug and I gave her a big kiss, and I mean, I held her, oh God, I miss her. I held her so tightly. I squeezed her and squeezed her and squeezed her. And I got in the car and burst into tears. And I remember looking behind and waving. And Robbie goes, what's wrong? He goes, that's the last time I'll ever see her. I knew she was going to die. And I was walking, funny enough, I was walking through, my best mate Aidan was my Vicky, now my girlfriend at that point. And we were walking through a graveyard from Bondi to Coogee. And my phone went. And I just picked the phone up. And I looked at Aidan and went, my nanny's dead. And I answered and went, hello. And Mum goes, Paul, love? And I was like, yeah. She said, I'm so sorry. And I just burst into tears. And I remember just collapsing in the middle of a road and just being overwhelmed. And I didn't give a fuck who was there. I was so overwhelmed. But that's grief. And when you're in grief, you're living in the actual moment. That is what you're meant to do. We're meant to live in them. We're meant to be. That's the idea of expressing. You know, we lock our emotions away. We try to act the way society tells us we should act. We've got a defined set of rules for societal behaviours. Do you know, kids are brilliant at it. You see kids in the supermarket who want sweets, and they're throwing tantrums. And they're screaming. If you're a parent, you walk past the mother and go, because you know what it's like. But all that kid's doing is being exactly authentically them. They are feeling something and they are expressing how they feel in that moment. Then suddenly they're gone. Boop, the energy's gone. But what we do is behave yourself. Stop that. And they lock that away, because what they've got to do is they've got to survive. And as the archetypal mother and father, you represent that 2-year-old, your love, your survival. Everything they rely on is from you. So if you tell them they must do something, they must fracture who they are, and their ego will fracture, and they will now attach to a certain identity that ensures they get love, even though it takes them further away from their authentic self. And this is why children are so beautiful. This is why we can learn so much from kids, because kids are authentically themselves. Whereas us as adults, we are conditioned by what society says we must be. And we must sit down and we must shut up and we must not say a word. Okay, yes sir, no problem. But that's not what we're wanting. What's your thoughts on the brain and heart coherence meditation? Beautiful. Heart meditation is beautiful. Our heart has its own frequency. Do you know, they say, and I can tell you this right now, the hardest journey in the world is 10 inches from the head to the heart. You know, that's the hardest place, because we live in this 3D realm that is governed by rules, but those rules are not coherent with what we need as like living, loving beings. And so many of us have lost this connection. This is why, listen, I could be loaded, right? If I swallowed my pride, or whatever you want to call it, and I followed the systems of the gym world, I could be fucking loaded. I could be living in a big, massive house. I don't want that. I do not want that. I want community. I want to get up every day, and the people I walk into my gym, I want to know that I want to know them. I am lucky enough that I have got so many friends, the members that have become personal friends. You know, people that are like, I'll phone them up outside of work, outside of the gym, and just talk to them because they're friends. I'll meet up with them. I've got such, something's happening. I'm blessed, and I think I'm blessed because I've woke up to what is truly important and what isn't. And when you can allow yourself to let go of what they tell us we need, and instead ask yourself what it is you need as an individual, then you're free to do things. Like, I love the fact that I've got so many people coming to my gym every day and just doing things, I forgot the wrong colour, and doing things that it's you know, some of my members here 10 years, they go any gym, they don't need to be here, they know how to train, but they come here because it's not about the training. The training is almost like the afterthought, like the 6 a.m. sessions. We've at 5:30 a.m. This gym sometimes has 16 people in it at 5:30. Many gyms can say they've got 16 members coming in at 5:30 in the morning. What am I doing? What is that I offer that has so many people coming in at 5:30 in the morning? Do you know, it's not about the training. It's about the crack. It's about the community. It's about the uplifting energy, because we slag and we joke and we banter. I'm a wild slagger, but they torture the life out of me. My members absolutely rip me apart. But I love that, because that's what you do as a family. You know, when you're a family, you're slagging each other and it's joke, but there's love. There's slagging, but you know deep down it's like love and they do anything for you. That's why I'm so blessed in this gym. That's why I'm so happy. And it's like something that we all can do. It's like finding your tribe to find your vibe, you know, that type of thing. And so many of us are just missing out on that, because we've got this idea of what we should be doing. Is this the right colour? And like the sound bowls, like everything I do is about building the community. I just think when you've got, you see, I'm very, oh shit, just knocking everything over here. I've been very open about, do you know, my past and me trying to take my life many times. Adam, I'm good, mate. How are you, buddy? I've been very open about that, you know. Like the ex-wife, without her I wouldn't be here. She saved my life before we were going out. She was the one that gave me a phone call just randomly and said, what's wrong? I was like, nothing's wrong. She's like, what's wrong? And she ended up breaking down and stopping myself from doing something stupid, leaving 2 young girls, fucking without a father. Because I was in such a deep, deep, dark depression. Do you know, and there's so many people like that. And you wouldn't have seen it from me. You would have thought I was fucking, I was a Jack the Crack slagging. I was hollow inside, I was empty inside, I was just wanting this world to just swallow me up and just, I felt so low about myself that I just would have rather not been here. And again, one of my members came in and picked me up off the floor and fucking took me to his house and gave me lots of advice and helped me out, you know, this. And that's the value. That's the real value I'm talking about that we all need to recognise. Money means nothing when you're at that point in your life, do you know? And this is where so many of us are disconnected. And that's why I like, you know, like, I love those sound bowls. God, I love them. Just that playing them and just hearing those vibrations. And just like watching those people just lie there and breathe. And you know they're just giving themselves that moment to just reconnect with themselves, which is what we all need on a deeper, more personal level. We need to reconnect with ourselves and give ourselves permission to just relax and enjoy. Give ourselves permission to just be ourselves. But we're so busy. I put a video up there, like, it's crazy how people would happily pay £10 for a Big Mac meal, to have gristly burger, chips that who knows what the fuck's in them, and Coke that's watered down to shit for a Big Mac meal. Easily, because we're just not happy with who we are. We just want that moment of pleasure, and that food becomes an addictive substance. Today, you know, we all just eat that shit just to forget, but afterwards we feel, I shouldn't have eaten that in my stomach. But we keep doing it over and over again because it's become habitual, and it just gives that wee bit of escape. We don't even ask ourselves, why do I want this? And afterwards, most of us go, why did I eat that? I don't even want that. Why did I eat that? But yet, you say to someone, it's 10 quid to sit there for an hour, lie there, breathe, and literally let your nervous system just... People struggle with that. People will find excuses not to do that. Because you're so conditioned. We're just, as a society, we're so conditioned to avoid what's good for us and instead just continually chase what's bad. And you know, it's so sad to see, because the answers to all our problems are right in front of our eyes. It's you. Look in the mirror. You are the answer to your problems. You've just got to believe in yourself. You've just got to allow yourself permission to do something differently, to feel uncomfortable. And believe me, I know this because I have felt uncomfortable so many fucking times in my life. And it caused so many fights. God love Gail, because like, see, when I was hard work. I was fucking hard work, like. But I had to be hard work to be here. And I don't beat myself up anymore. I used to be embarrassed about that. I used to give myself a hard time, and I used to berate myself and put myself down. And see now, God love you, that version of you. But I thank that version of me, because that version of me has allowed me to get to here. That version of me, without me being that version of me, I'm not who I am today. And that's a really, really important part to understand. That who you are today is the sum of who you were yesterday and all your life. And a lot of us have guilt and shame, and we feel embarrassed. We're like, I can't believe I've done that. You've done that because you were unconsciously doing it. You can't beat yourself up. You can acknowledge what you did. You can apologise to the people that you caused pain to. And I fucking caused a lot of people pain. A lot of unnecessary pain because I was in pain. I didn't do it out of badness. I did it out of protection. We all do it out of protection. And when you can let go of that shame and that guilt about doing what you did, take ownership of your actions and then apologise and move on, let it go, learn from it, apply those lessons into your life so that you no longer have to do that, then it's not a waste. What's a waste is if you allow yourself to ruminate over what you did and then continue to do it. That's a waste. That's you in a repetitive cycle that's going to hold you back. But that doesn't have to be the way you have to be. You can choose, if you wish, to do things differently. And that's something we've all got the ability to do. You know, that's the lessons I'm learning about. This is why I love the mushrooms so much, because they're allowing me to do these things. They're allowing me to see these things and integrate these things and then change those things about me. Deal with what I've done. Let go of that shame and embarrassment for doing it. And then move forward. And if I can do it, so can you. Every one of us can. It just takes us to have the courage. You know, courage is doing what you know you should do and facing the fear. And the fear you're going to experience is yours and yours alone. It's personal. Do you know, and acknowledging that fear, acknowledging you do have fear over something, regardless of what everyone else says about it. If it's impacting your life and you can do something about it, well then do it. And see what happens, because you'll impact people on a much better level. And your life will be so much better. And that's the key. That's what the medicine's teaching me. And you know what? The one thing I've learned about this type of stuff is the more you do it, the less fear it holds over you. And the more you become comfortable doing it. And it becomes easier and easier and easier. You start seeing these problems, you start seeing them, you're like, oh fuck, that's what I done. And you no longer attach the shame, the embarrassment, you just accept it and you go, right, okay, I gotta fix that. Okay, I gotta do that, I'm gonna do that. And it becomes easier and easier and easier. And there comes a certain point where you see those emotions coming and you see the program appearing and you're like, okay, here we go. I'm going to go for a deep dive, feel the emotion, express it, release it, back up again. The energy's gone. You step back in. It's like that roller coaster. Life is a roller coaster. Up and down, up and down, up and down. But except most of us want it to always be good. But you can't. We can't always have good. If everything was good and nothing, then you wouldn't have anything to compare to. The reason why life feels so good is because you've had those low times. But if you focus on the low times, then that becomes your natural go-to experience. But if you recognize them as part and parcel of life, things change. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm going to go here, try to paint this, do my man Daz portrait for their Christmas present, and it's doing my head in. So anyway, have a good day, folks. Have a good night. I'll speak to you all soon.